Style for Life. I'm Stephanie Rumble, fashion stylist, accountability coach, and your guide to feeling good in your body and your clothes. Based in Christchurch, New Zealand, I bring over 3 decades of experience in fashion, fitness, and wellness to help you feel strong, stylish, and self-assured. Together we'll explore the emotional, physical, and practical sides of style because true confidence starts from within. No matter your age or size, you deserve to feel confident and show up as the best version of you. I truly believe this. This is Style for Life. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. My goodness, here I am back in Christchurch. It has been such a journey. I've been away for 5.5 weeks and it's been an amazing trip away. I had a really difficult finish to the trip, which has made life a little bit interesting and has sort of slowed me up a wee bit this week, hence the late release of this podcast. But I've had this brewing for some time. So the end of my holiday happened like this. On the 24th of July, I got COVID, which I kind of wasn't unexpected. I haven't had it for 2 years. It was my 5th infection and I was a bit sick for 3 or 4 days, but I was in Morocco at the time. And so I decided to take it easy. And then on the 4th day, I felt a bit better. So I went out for a meal and I contracted salmonella. Now, I didn't know at the time it was salmonella. I just went home and woke up in the night with a really bad stomach, and that went on for 4 days. Anyway, long story short, I've had 2 weeks of illness and I got back to New Zealand and been in hospital all week. But anyway, I'm now back. I'm out. I've dressed in something decent. I've had my hair cut. Oh, hallelujah. Because honestly, that has been so long and I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still not myself, but I'm getting there. And I really wanted to bring this podcast to you today because I've been away for so long and I've had so many things to talk about. So one of the things that really struck me when I was away, and all of the countries we went to, and we went to Switzerland first to watch Zach, then we travelled to France, and if you're following me on Instagram, you would have seen me travelling around all of these countries, and then we went to Spain, and then to Morocco, then back to Spain, and then home. And I really was struck at all these countries, how colourful the people are. So how colourfully they dress. It strikes me every time I go overseas, and it reminds me that New Zealanders are different, right? So I really wanted to talk and explore the subject of the colour black because it's something that we seem to be particularly interested in wearing, and going to other countries, I just don't see this in the same way that I see it in New Zealand. I think New Zealand, in some cases Australia as well, in some places, have quite an obsession with wearing black. So I wanted to go through some of the reasons why I've heard people wear black. And also I have a really good colleague called Imogen Lamport who put out a little blog around this earlier in the week, and I read it and I was inspired by her blog to extend on it and talk about it here as well, because a lot of the things she said really resonated with what I've experienced with my clients and how I actually feel about black too. So first of all, I want to say that when we do colour analysis, there's a group of people in the colour spectrum that actually look really good in black and it suits their skin tone. I'm definitely not one of them. I wish I was, but I'm not. I look terrible in black. It just overpowers me. It's not for me. For some people, it's really good. So I think I just want to acknowledge that I am not an anti-black person in any way, wearing the colour black, obviously. So just so you know that. But I also think that there's so many beautiful colours out there. And I've seen so many of them in the last month or so. So many beautiful colours, so many beautiful options. And sometimes we get very stuck in a trap of black. So I'm going to go through a few little things about black first before I get into it and just explain, what black is and why potentially people get a little bit caught up in wearing it. So first of all, when you look at the colour black, black is the absence of light. So in the context of light, Black represents the absence of visible light, meaning no light is reflected back to the eye, just in the technical terms of it. Black pigments and materials absorb all wavelengths of light rather than reflecting them, right? So that's why we see black. It's not on the visible spectrum. It's not a colour on the visible light spectrum, which includes the colours of the rainbow. So we don't see black in those colours there. So black is not necessarily a colour. It's just an absence of colour, right? I don't want to be confusing, but that's pretty much how it goes in terms of the scientific definition of black. Now, when I talk to my clients and I talk to people I know and everyone, I ask them often, what is it that makes you want to wear black? And I have come up with a whole lot of things here, that answers that I've had. People have said to me that the reasons why they want to wear black. I'm going to go through them all, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I know about that answer and how I can give you some other options. So the first one is black is slimming. So, a lot of people, well, not some people, let's say some people feel a little bit uncomfortable about how they look, and they feel that they want to wear black because it makes them look slimmer. Now, when we look at purely what dark colours do, dark colours recede, bright colours advance. And so when we look at a dark colour, we wear it because we want to recede. So black's worn for that reason. It's that people feel more slimming. So they feel like they're more slim. Now, the first thing I would say to that is there's lots of dark colours. You don't have to wear black. How about dark green, dark purple, dark blue, navy? How about chocolate brown? How about something else if you want that dark vibe, right? And I also say that when you wear your clothes, and this is a comment that Imogen made too, it's create a face focus rather than a body focus. So my outfit draws your eye up to the face, right? I'll stand up and show you, those of you who are watching it on YouTube. You can see I've got yellow trousers on. I got these overseas, and this is an LMA shirt. So you can see that I've created a face focus, put some earrings on, put a little bit of makeup on, so that when you look at me, you do notice the trousers, obviously, but you look to the face. And that's what we want to create with your clothes. This means when you've got a face focus, people are looking at your face, right? And you light up, and that is more slimming. It means you're in harmony with your colours as well. So I think first, 2 tips there. First is, you don't have to wear black to wear a dark colour. There's lots of other options that are much more interesting, creative, and probably suit your skin tone. And let's create a face focus rather than a body focus, because that's where we want people to look. So wearing colours that are right for you draw the eye up to the face. Yeah, and people say to me, I really want to wear black because there's so many more black clothes in the shops. Now, look, I know that in New Zealand, this does happen, particularly in the cooler seasons. We do get some black clothes coming to the shops, or a number of black clothes. And some seasons, there seems to be a lot. Not so bad this season. I've seen a bit more colour, but definitely there can be a lot of black in the shop. So they go, there's so many more black clothes to choose from. It's just so much easier. But look, my answer to that is, if you keep buying it, the industry will keep churning it out. Right? And the industry churns it out because it sells, and it sells because we buy it, and we buy it because we're scared that we're not going to get it right. So if we wear black, we think we'll get it right. Right? So it plays into our fears of wanting to get it right. And, like this, understanding what suits you means that you can understand other colours and wear those. And there's so many other things out there that will suit you. So just because there's so much of it, it doesn't mean it's right for you. So one of the things we teach you with colour analysis is, we teach you to walk into a shop and pan into the shop and go, okay, what do I see here? Do I see red? Do I see blue? What are the colours I'm noticing in the shop? And then look to, if they say, for example, black is what you're looking for that day, then you go to the black section. But for me, rarely do I look in the section with black. Really, because it's not a colour I look good in. Even as a neutral, there's so many other options for me. Now, just because there's so much of it, it doesn't mean that it's right for you, right? And the industry churns it out because it sells. It sells because we buy it, and that plays into our fear of wanting to get it right. Because it's everywhere, it doesn't mean, again, that it belongs to your color palette. So don't keep falling into that trap. And it doesn't mean that because it's common that it's right for you as well. There will be other options. People say there's nothing else in the shops. Believe me, I had a really interesting conversation yesterday with a friend of mine about a particular shop in New Zealand. She was saying, oh, I never shop there. I thought it was just for young people. And she's my age. And I'm like, well, I shop there and I've taken people who are in their 70s in there, and there's clothes for everybody. So sometimes we get a perception of only certain retailers, brands, etc. being right for us, but there's often many other choices too. And one of our jobs as a stylist is to help introduce you to those other options. And that always starts with us understanding what suits our skin tone and our colour palette. And I don't mean to go on about this, but it's just, I've understood this since I was 16. And it's been liberating in my life to know what works for me. I know that I can put things on that work, right? And some people say, oh, I've worked that out. And you probably have worked it out to a degree, but it's really good to understand it exactly, like to get it right, to know that you actually suit the clothes that you're buying, right? So you don't always feel like you have to walk in and go, oh, I'll just buy the black one because it's just easy and it's safe. And I won't make a dressing mistake. So people feel like they're going to make a dressing mistake. That's the next point. It's safe and I won't make a dressing mistake. So I'm going to go in and buy black. So the first question is, I want you to ask, are you enough? Do you feel like you're enough? Where's your confidence? Yeah? Do you feel like you might stand out in the wrong way if you don't buy black, right? You buy black because people don't notice you and it feels like a safety net. Right, so I think that's the question to ask yourself. Is it about your self-esteem? Have you got some work to do on actually who you are? And people often say, oh, I don't want to stand out. I want people to notice me. Why is that? If you want to feel self-expressed and like the person you really are, then black might not be who that is. We've fallen into that trap because we want to be someone that we're not. Right? So, there's so much more tied to our clothing choices than just our clothing choices. And I think that's the safety thing, safe option and making a dressing mistake are comments and statements I hear all the time. My clients will say, oh, it's easy. I don't make a mistake. I can just put it on and it feels safe. Whereas, when you start to feel better about who you are, good about who you are and all of those things, then you feel more confident to wear the colours that are right for you and make you glow and shine in the way that you can. So I think, really the safety and dressing mistake comes down to really understanding your self-esteem and who you are. So yeah, if you want to really shine and be the person that you are, then black might not be the right colour for you. I mean, again, it might be in some cases, but just keep that in mind that it might not be exactly right. This one. Black protects me and feels like an emotional shield. That's an interesting one. And I remember working with one client years ago who was a large, full-figured lady. She was plus size and she just had lots of very loose, drapey clothes that she favoured, and they were all black. And I asked her why, and she said, it feels like it protects me. It feels like an emotional armor. And I've had people of all sizes say this. It feels like I've got this emotional protection. It's like I don't want people to look at me. So when you feel vulnerable and don't want people to look, black serves as a don't look at me or don't look too closely in some cases. So, again, it's like a boundary. It's like an energetic boundary where, women feel objectified. I'm just going to sort of divert a little here. When we were in Morocco, and Morocco's an Islamic country, which means that the women were quite covered up. So most of the women wore the hijab, which just covers everything except their face and hands, and their hair is covered. And I'm talking like the temperatures there were 40 degrees. It was really hot. And then some of them even wore the full burqa, which is where there's only an eye slit and everything's covered. They wear gloves as well. And a lot of the time, those burqas were black. So it's really putting that energetic boundary around the woman, saying, "Don't look at me. You're going to objectify me if you see any part of me." And again, I understand there's cultural boundaries and I'm trying to be respectful here, but also understanding, why some of these choices are made and why some of these clothing, particularly some of the hijab, which is where the burqa, where there was only the eyes showing, are chosen. They were all black. There was no one wearing any other colour in this particular choice of attire. So, a lot of the time black's worn, and black's a hard colour to wear when it's really hot because it absorbs the heat. So these poor women, I don't know how they do it. They must be dripping with sweat underneath. Again, I don't want to put any kind of lack of respect into this commentary, but I just want to point out that black can be like an emotional armor. So in terms of us making that choice to wear black, us making that choice to wear something that's, thick and heavy and kind of not got any shape to it, what are you trying to protect yourself from? Do you really need to do that? And do you really understand who you are? Do you understand what you suit and how you could perhaps be more self-expressed? Sometimes black can signify a desire to blend in, or again, like a cultural norm. And also sometimes people wear it because they feel that they don't want to be objectified or judged, or they're just emotionally overloaded. They might be emotionally overloaded and they're like, I'm just going to put on black because it just pushes people away. It makes no comment. People don't notice me. I don't have to think about it. It's so much easier. It's just going to be like an easy, quick option for me because I just need a boundary around that because I've got no time and I'm exhausted, right? So it's, I just think explore where you're at with this because it's a whole lot deeper than just loving the colour black, or some of you might like. I'm going to go with the next one here. I hear all the time, this is really common, and it's that black goes with everything. So a lot of people I work with go, oh yeah, no, I love black because it really goes with everything. It's like, I can put it on, it's a really good neutral. But what I would say to you is so many colours are neutrals. Like when you do a colour analysis, we give you a neutral palette as well as a colour palette. So you get the first block of colours, which are your colour palette. Actually, I'll show you. I'll bring it up on my colours app. And then you get a block of colours, which are your neutrals. And actually, you know what? That's just so liberating because you can then see what you have that goes with everything rather than just thinking, oh, it has to be black. Okay, black goes with everything. So when you look at the colour palette online, this is my one here. Oh, it's hard to see because of the light. Oh, there we go. That's all the colours. So if I just scroll through the colours, there's all my colours there, and we're getting through them. This is my colour palette, and obviously everyone's is a little bit different. And then we get to the bottom here, and this is my neutral palette. So you can see here I've got browns, I've got some greens, I've got some rose. It's hard to see because the colour's not very good. So I've got a few slaty greys and things. So I have neutrals in there. I often see me wearing chocolate and camel and some of those other colours. So, neutrals don't have to be black. They can be all sorts of other colours, so many other colours that are interesting, like navy, like chocolate brown, like rose brown, like dark green. Yeah, I find gold, like a goldy, dark chartreusey colour, really useful. It goes with many colours in my wardrobe. Always gravitating to that. I have a really nice petrol blue jacket that is really good neutral as well. I find cream a really good neutral. So, and again, if you want a dark colour, I actually love the aubergine kind of dark aubergine colour. Find that really good. I've got a couple of pair of trousers that colour. I've got a pair of trousers made overseas that colour. Like really, really good neutrals that sort of harmonise with my wardrobe and bring it together. So, this is one of the things we teach you as stylists, is we teach you that there's a lot of neutrals out there. It doesn't have to just be black. So a lot of the time people think I need black pants. Well, I mean, I don't even remember the last time I wore black pants. I have got a pair of black jeans and I have one pair of black kind of high-waisted, tight, flared trousery things. But they're the only two black pairs out of about 30 pairs of trousers. So, and I have clients like this too, who, when I work with them in their wardrobes ongoingly, we work to build the neutrals that work for your colour palette and the neutrals that suit you and harmonise with you and are resonating with you too. They create that energy with you. I think that's really important. And understanding what suits you and what works for your skin tone is the starting point for that. So just a little bit on black. Black can be overpowering. So like if I stand up, you can see what I'm wearing. I don't think there's any black in my shirt. If I was to wear black pants with this, I'll look okay. But there's not really any black in my outfit. So I mean, a denim pair of jeans would look better because there's a blue in my shirt. For those of you who are listening and not watching, this is a cream shirt with some sort of paisley embellishments on it, some big large ones that have got a few beads and things in them. It's a kind of Mexican looking shirt, and I've teamed it up with a pair of mustard pants that I bought overseas. So like my outfit wouldn't be very nice with black pants. So consider, is black actually the right colour for you? And it's always the black pants and the black shoes. I get the kind of, I need black pants, I need black shoes. Now very rarely when I'm shopping with a client do we buy either. Yeah, we often look to other neutrals. I mean, when I'm starting with somebody in the beginning phases of their journey into colour, we might start with the black pants if that's where they want to go, particularly if that's what they feel comfortable with. Then I'll encourage them into other areas, or I might encourage them into navy. I had a client recently who I took shopping. She was really lovely as she was trying to progress in her career, and she wanted to be wearing clothes that signified her profession and her professional aspirations. And so she had lots of navy, like excessive amounts of navy. So we did actually get her a pair of black pants as well. We got some chocolate brown, we got some green, and I showed her how to mix and match so that she still looked really professional, really smart, really well put together. But she didn't necessarily have to be dressed in black, which is not necessarily the right colour for her. Because remember, when black isn't right for you, it draws the colour out of your face. It can enhance lines and wrinkles. It can make you look pale. It can enhance dark circles under the eyes and all of that. So, even if you wear a lot of makeup, it can do all of that to you. So just be really careful if it isn't the right colour for your skin tone, that you have some options you feel comfortable with. And again, if it is something you like and you want to learn how to wear it and still have it in your wardrobe, I can teach you how to put other things in your outfit that will harmonise with you and make you look good too. So black doesn't go with everything. It can be overpowering with soft colours. It can be too hard and too much with some colours. So like, for example, if you think about wearing like for example, a light, really nice pastel pink top. Now, black pants is quite a harsh slam with that. Look much better with navy. Yeah, that's just one example. So just thinking of those colour combinations. Again, contrast comes into this too. And we talk a lot about contrast in colour analysis. So what are your contrast levels and how does that work too? So that plays into it too. So it does not necessarily go with everything, right? People say black is sophisticated and safe. Yeah, right. So I think I'm known to look sophisticated in black. It's a safe colour for me because, Coco Chanel wore a little black dress. Everyone needs a little black dress. And I remember falling into this myself, thinking, oh, gosh, I don't even own a little black dress. I remember in my 20s thinking, do I need to go out and buy one? I remember not feeling really like I wanted a black dress, but going out and finding this dark brown dress. It was actually a Karen Walker dress. It was one of her first dresses. I so wish I'd kept it. I'm so annoyed with myself because it was like in the first few years of my work. So I was in my early 20s. It was a chocolate brown check, so very, very faint checked, sleeveless, sort of mid-thigh to knee length chocolate brown dress. And it was a little dress. And that was my little black dress. That was the closest I had because I just felt much better in that. Every little black dress I tried on just didn't feel like me. So again, do we need a little black dress? I would say no. You need something classic that you feel good in, that you can draw on, that you can wear and take to places when you do need something classic like that. But, again, Coco Chanel brought the little black dress to the market and it signified elegance and sophistication. But now a black dress can be seen as camouflage, not necessarily confidence. It doesn't necessarily radiate confidence. So I think, there's many, many classic looks that don't have to include black. If you're a classic dresser, and I totally get that, a lot of my clients are classic dressers, we can find things that suit you, that you like, that look really good, that are not necessarily black. So again, just thinking back to some of those other neutrals that can still look really good. And if you're not a pattern person, again, you don't have to wear pattern. We can find single colours that feel better, or colours on their own. Oh, I have the argument, it's so easy. I don't have to worry about putting colours together. So when I hear that you are overloaded. You're at capacity. You can't think about it. You haven't got any time because you've got so many other things in your brain that are way more important than having to think about your wardrobe, right? And I understand that because it does take a little bit of commitment and thinking about, right? And you don't want to think about it. You just want to go grab, put clothes on, leave the house, look okay, right? And that's why black kind of fits into that. It's so easy. I don't have to worry about putting colours together. Look, and I know that it can be tricky putting colours together. So putting a block colour with a block colour can feel really difficult. So I always encourage my clients to have a garment that has a few colours in it. Like, for example, my shirt, which is a cream background, like I said, but it has a whole lot of colours in the shirt. You can see there's some colours on the sleeve as well. And I've pulled out those colours by putting on the mustard jeans. And I actually also earlier today was wearing, and you've seen me wear this lots and lots of times, I was wearing my red Matilda cardi, which I will put on and show you, just to show you that this shirt connects my clothes together. So you can see that the shirt connects. Like if I was just wearing the cardi and the jeans, it would be okay, but I'd feel a little bit like Marmite. Because it's red and yellow together. Those of you who don't know what that is, it's not even Marmite colours. I think they're black and red. Anyway, that just came to mind. So, again, wearing something that has a wee bit of detail and a few colours in it helps you to put other colours together with that colour. So instead of just wearing black with black with black, or black with a colour, pick out some of your other neutrals. Like it might be it's a navy for you, or for me it's a chocolate brown. Whatever it is, that piece is going to go with lots of things too. Denim's a really good neutral, right? So you don't have to worry about only having black to have things easy. So again, work out what your neutrals are, know what your colours are, and generally your colours will go with each other as well. So that's the other thing about when you do have your colours sorted, you know what goes with what because it's all in the same cool or warm undertone. Yeah, so the shift is when you understand your colour palette, so it's much easier. Everything goes together and you have neutrals to make it work and there's less effort. So there's less effort when you know what works for you. So the other thing is, there's another one I've heard. My profession, my family, my friends, everyone expects black. I work in an area where we're only deemed to be professional if we are in serious black clothes, right? Now, I know I've worked with many professions, many women in business, and I know and understand that this can very much be something that has been in the past. Particularly, and I think of law, for example, I know that in court, women have to wear black and white, and so do men. Like that's just a part of the law of being a lawyer in court, right? So I think it kind of stems back from that, right? Now, these cultural codes, they're obviously being in court, there's rules, and that's completely valid. But just in your general workplace, these cultural codes suppress personal expression, they suppress femininity, they push us towards the oppressive views of fitting in a man's world too. And we're just as much a part of the world as everyone's a part of the world, right? So I think be really careful about really sticking to these cultural norms. Like, I do hear people say, oh, what do the other people in that organisation look like when they're looking to go into an organisation? How do other people look and how are they dressing? And, thinking about that too. I'm working professionally with a company in a few weeks' time who are wanting to update their look. And the first thing I'm doing with all of this stuff is their colours so that we understand what people suit and then we can go from there when it comes to photos. So, yeah, just think about is it expected or are you expecting that it's expected? And can you still wear what suits you and feels good for you and fit in? Like, I remember years ago having a job opportunity. This is quite random. And one of the options for that job was we had to wear a uniform. This isn't good for me. And the uniform was a black shirt. And I just wouldn't have worn it. I couldn't have done the job and felt good in that. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous and a little bit over the top, and probably it is. But I think, for me, that was going to be a game changer, right? So I think, yeah, just think a little bit about whether or not the expectation is there or whether it's something that you have thought as an expectation. I remember I've got a really good friend who's worked overseas in many jobs, and she always said, oh, it was always expected that I wore X, Y, and Z. And I questioned that. I think she felt she needed to wear that to hold the level of authority that she had. And that was lack of confidence that put her forward into something that was a little bit more an expression of who she was. So anyway, What is the answer to all of this? So we've been through, just to quickly summarize the questions that I asked and sort of hopefully debunked for you. The first one was black is slimming. Well, again, you've got option of many dark colors if that's what you want. And we want a face focus rather than a body focus. There are so many more black clothes to choose from. Well, again, it's understanding what suits you, going into shops that have more options, buying other colours, then the industry will supply them. It's safe and I won't make a dressing mistake. Well, are you enough? How do you really feel? Do you think you're going to stand out in the wrong way? So really and truly, where are you at with who you are? Black protects me like an emotional armour. So, when you're vulnerable, black serves so people don't look to you as closely. So think about, what are you trying to hide from? And is there an energetic boundary you need to create? Is there a cultural boundary, or is that something that you need to work on to improve your self-confidence? It goes with everything. Well, probably not necessarily. As we talked about, there's lots of other colours. Black is sophisticated and safe. Yeah, well, again, there's lots of other options that are sophisticated, lots of other things that are safe as well. It's easy, you don't have to worry about putting colours together. And I talked about understanding your colours, understanding your neutrals, so you have lots of options. And then people expect black. Well, again, question whether they expected, whether it's an expectation that you've created. And if they do, can you find another dark colour that suits you and fits you better? So I hope that's been useful. I love delivering these podcasts to you. I'm now back in Christchurch. I'm starting to feel like myself again. I really would love some feedback from you. Please let me know what you'd like to hear, what you'd like me to talk about. And kia kaha, everybody. I will be back again next week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to the Style for Life podcast. Don't forget, you deserve to feel fabulous at every age, every stage, and at every size. If you're loving the show, hit subscribe and leave a review. It helps more amazing people like you find their way back to life through style. Thanks again. Until next time.